his mark on India. But despite his great victory, the long years of fighting have taken their toll on his army. To make matters worse, the monsoon rains relentlessly set in.
It would be psychologically terrible for the men from Macedonia because they had never known anything like it.
After 8 years and 17,000 miles, the troops reach breaking point and refuse to go any farther. Alexander has lost his first battle against his own men. He has no choice but to turn back.
But just think of it, here he was going to be, before he was 30, standing, he believed, at the point where the world ran out into a vast great sea of water. And he was going to stand and look out, and he was going to sacrifice to the gods that his divine father had told him to sacrifice to. And he was going to think, back in your hole, Philip, you never got so far. Oh, come on, it's egocentric. But what a name, what a name. And they'd gone and denied it. Wimps.
Alexander takes the long way back to Persia, leading his troops on yet another epic march. This time through the barren wasteland of a desert, one of the driest places on earth. Why Alexander came this way is a mystery. Perhaps it was to punish his men for not following him to the ends of the earth.
The terrain changed dramatically from hard-baked ground where nothing grew to a shifting desert sand which buried his army up to their waist and above.
Thousands die from sunstroke, thirst, and exhaustion. Less than a third of Alexander's army survive.
He thought that he could conquer anything. So far, he had conquered everything in his path. And he thought he could handle it. And he was wrong.
And while it is the worst disaster of the entire campaign, it's still a marvel that they crossed at all.
They never really quite knew towards the end what Alexander would do next. His actions and his policies were unfathomable. He was unpredictable and threatening to them in that sense.
Alexander marches on to the Persian city of Susa, where he has another surprise in store for his men. He commands nearly 100 Macedonian officers to take Persian brides.
These marriages were meant to stay in place. They were meant to go and inseminate these women and produce endless number of hybrid Macedonian Iranian children who are going to be the princes of the future.
The marriages are deeply resented by the men, and their anger grows. But for Alexander, merging East and West is a practical affair. He himself makes a point of marrying 3 foreign women. In order to rule a diverse empire, he needs to fuse the cultures.
He's looking forward now to the new empire, not the one that he's conquered, not the one he brought with him from Greece and Macedon, but the new Middle Eastern empire.
Alexander marches his army back to the new seat of his empire, Babylon.